We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. The question on everyone's mind, where on earth was Joan Jones last night? The people are dying to know. And there's a reason why we're asking these questions. Mason, tell everybody what you walked out to from the grocery store last night.
Last night, an unsuspected thing happened to my vehicle. Something Joan Jones talks about quite often from her hometown. Jonestown.
Well, I missed something.
Hang on. We're getting to it.
I walked out to my tire flat last night, Joan.
Oh, no.
Something had punctured it.
Oh, it wasn't me, I swear.
You sure?
Yeah.
You got an alibi, Joan?
Where were you last night?
Where were you last night, Joan?
An hour and a half away from here, my home.
In Jonestown?
In Jonestown. Yeah.
All right.
We figured you would say something like that.
Yeah.
We're currently getting the surveillance video, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Expect an email from Cash Patel.
Mason says to me, he says, it took me almost 2 hours to get in here. I'm driving on a donut. I was like, the speed thing on those, just a suggestion, right?
Yeah, but I don't trust it because I've seen those things explode from people driving them on the interstate. And so I'm like, you know what? I'll take my chances with a longer drive.
Plus, you can't go very far.
Yeah.
Like 50 miles.
Yeah, it is not fun. But we made it here, and it's okay.
Welcome back to the show, Mason.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Joan, we're keeping an eye on you.
No matter what I do to keep you away. Welcome back.
I find a way in.
Today is election day in Los Angeles. Are you guys excited about that? Spencer Pratt could very well be the new mayor. I'm not going to spend too much time on Spencer Pratt today. We spent a lot of it doing Spencer Pratt stuff yesterday. We'll have the results tomorrow. I think that he has a chance to win. Lord willing, keep our fingers crossed. I think that L.A. is due for a reckoning, and that reckoning would be the man, Spencer Pratt. But I did see a video. This guy, the guy that did the video where he's like, I think he's a German guy, and he's like, oh, everybody's worried about the Straits of Hormuz, but don't you think that we should be thinking about the gays of Hormuz? That guy was in Los Angeles, and he was asking individuals who they're voting for mayor, and he asked the guy who he's voting for, And I'll let you take this in. It was an Indian individual, an Asian individual, but he said, I'm a Nithya Raman guy because she looks like me.
Who are you voting for?
It's Raman.
Why her over Bass?
Well, she's Indian and I'm South Asian,
Respects. What do you think about Spencer Pratt?
so not much.
Do you think he has a chance?
I don't know. Do you?
I mean, if people were willing to elect Trump, some people just want to vote for the white guy
That's true.
just because they're white.
That's unfortunate.
What do you think about that? People voting on based on race and stuff.
I think it's a kind of unfortunate because you should be looking at someone's credentials, really.
It's okay to do that if you're Indian and South Asian, but not if you're white. Get it straight, bigot. That's about all the time we're going to spend on that. We do have a lot to get to. What? You got something to say?
No, it's just good.
What? It's so good.
It's good.
It's good. And somebody think of the gays of Hormuz. That guy is such a low key. I think it's the accent that gets the troll delivered in such a way that nobody can really pick up on it.
Absolutely.
Like that accent, you almost assume that they're a liberal.
Yeah. It was well crafted, well guided.
And
Hats off.
super smooth.
Yeah.
Super smooth the whole time. He's just swimming in it. Trolling is the art, so there's that. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about the illegal alien situation out there at Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. And our first story today is how we're going to be experiencing that here soon if Freddie O'Connell gets his way. This story is insane. The Tennessee Star has it. Michael Patrick Leahy, shout out to him. This is bananas. Are you ready for this? The Tennessee Star is reporting that the Nashville mayor, Mr. Freddie O'Connell, is planning to fund a pro-illegal alien nonprofit, the TIRRC, Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, with $735,000 in the city budget. This is the guy who's raising the property taxes all over town because, we don't have enough money in Nashville, but we have just about $1 million for pro-illegal alien groups. That's a little weird. That seems a little fishy. That's a bit infuriating, is it not? Is this just me? This is the headline. Nashville mayor from the Tennessee Star. Nashville mayor funds pro-illegal alien nonprofit TIRRC with $735,000 in city budget after years of successful collaboration. Metro Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell on May 1st proposed more than $700,000 in his annual budget for the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, a nonprofit supporting illegal aliens living in Tennessee. Why are we supporting illegal aliens living in Tennessee? What did Uncle Phil used to say back in the day? Am I the only one that remembers this? We need to demagnetize Tennessee? Does funding a pro-illegal alien group to the tune of almost $1 million demagnetize the state? Well, if you said no, you're a racist bigot, obviously. TIRRC partnered with the city last year to provide relief for those impacted by U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. You mean the group that's supposed to get the illegal aliens out of the country? They had to be relieved from that? Yeah, they had to be relieved from that. They were asked by the Biden administration to support the release of aliens into Tennessee's interior, and their affiliated political action committee endorsed O'Connell during his successful 2023 race for mayor. Define successful. First highlighted on Thursday by the Alt Daily Nashville blog, The Pamphleteer, the Nashville budget ordinance proposed for fiscal year 2027 includes $735,000 for the TIRRC as part of the city's spending on recreational, cultural, conservation, and community support. How do you conserve the Nashville community when you're funding its replacement? These are questions I have. In the line item, TIRRC is called the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition. O'Connell touted his longtime relationship with the TIRRC in December of 2024 when he was interviewed about how his administration was preparing for the federal immigration policy shifts it expected following President Trump's second term in the White House. He told the Tennessean that the slice of Nashville, represented by TIRRC, is very, very concerned about changes in federal immigration policy. And mind you, my friends, when we say changes in federal immigration policy, we mean following the laws as they're written. Phew, how could this happen? My goodness. Will someone think of the illegal aliens? Highlighting his relationship with the organization, the newspaper reported O'Connell also stated, I've had years of conversations and successful collaboration with the TIRCC, spelling in check. And so we want to get this right for the entire city. Are you getting it right for the entire city? As you're raising property taxes, as you're forcing businesses out of Nashville, and you're funding the rights for illegal aliens and refugees. Who are you getting it right for? Can anybody explain that to me? Who are we focused on? Whom benefits from this? O'Connell's comments to the newspaper came just months after the Tennessee Star revealed the group reported receiving more than $3 million in government funding in its tax filings. The comments also followed the affiliated TIRC vote PAC support for O'Connell's transportation referendum during the November 2024 elections. Records reveal the PAC donated more than $34,000 to support the mayor's proposal. Earlier that year, Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti won a significant legal victory in Tennessee's lawsuit to stop the Biden administration's effort to release thousands of illegal aliens from a Louisiana detention facility into Tennessee. As part of its plan, the Biden administration enlisted assistance from nonprofits, including the TIRRC, but abandoned the effort following the lawsuit, as well as sharp opposition from Governor Bill Lee and U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn. Last year, the TIRRC was named as one of two nonprofits coordinating the provision of the Belonging Fund, championed by O'Connell, in response to the joint enforcement operation between ICE and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Before it began actively coordinating the funds raised, TIRRC contributed over $30,000 to the effort. After the operation concluded, the TIRRC sued to obtain the names of nearly 200 illegal aliens arrested during the joint operation. The Metro Council is expected to vote on the budget in just over 2 weeks, June 17th. And what do you think the Metro Council is going to do? They're going to rubber stamp that bad boy. They're going to raise your property taxes, and they're going to fund illegal aliens. They have more rights than you, bigot. Deal with it. Hashtag deal with it. This is one of the craziest things. This is infuriating. And I think it's important to discuss who the TIRRC really is. They've had repeated audit issues with financial controls. Multiple years show material weakness and significant deficiencies in internal controls over federal grants and finances. 2023 audit, material weakness, significant deficiency. 2022 audit, material noncompliance, material weakness, significant deficiency. 2024 audit, significant deficiency in internal controls. The specific problems include inadequate monitoring of subrecipients, passing through hundreds of thousands in funds without proper documentation or verification of spending, lack of support for credit card expenditures, and poor tracking of federal awards. They say that this raises concerns when it comes to accountability, especially with substantial government funding. Who needs accountability? Mayor Freddie's in charge. That's all the accountability we need. We can count on Freddie, right? We're good with that. Nothing to worry. Nothing to worry about there. These guys have heavy reliance on government money and taxpayer funding. Your money. They're taking your money. They're raising your property taxes. And they're shipping in your replacements. TIRRC has received millions in government grants, nearly $3 million from 2020 to 2023, with more projected. The proposed $735,000 from Nashville city budget adds to this, following prior collaborations. Critics argue this effectively uses taxpayer money to advocate against federal immigration enforcement. This is the very system funding some of their work via other channels. Opposition to immigration enforcement and sanctuary-style policies, the TIRRC actively pushes policies limiting local cooperation with ICE, sues state agencies like the Tennessee Highway Patrol over records, and organizes protests/rapid responses to enforcement actions. So with all this loosey-goosey funding coming in, how soon until we see protests like we're seeing outside of Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey, where they're busing individuals in from out of state? I mean, seriously, these are questions that we need to ask. These guys have opposed bills on harboring and transporting undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens, education restrictions, stronger enforcement, their past involvement in efforts to release detainees into Tennessee, and calls for non-cooperation with ICE. This aligns with their mission, but it raises red flags for everyone who sees it for what it is, undermining the rule of law and prioritizing non-citizens over Nashvillians. Absolutely insane. How about we take the $735,000 and instead of funding illegal aliens, we pump it into our schools? How about we give the teachers a raise? I mean, there's so many. You know what would be a better use of the $735,000? Just lighting it on fire. That would be a much better use of the $735,000, Mayor Freddie. Let's have a bonfire outside the Nashville Public Library for all the homeless with the $735,000 that you plan to give to the illegal alien group TIRRC. Large portions of expenses for the TIRRC goes to community organizing. Advocacy and education. You can't even track this stuff. Like it doesn't mean really anything. Which ties back into their weakness when it comes to audits. This is disgusting. Everybody understands that, right? Like, this is disgusting. Executive Director Lisa Sherman Luna. Do you know how much she makes? You ready for this? Well, her compensation has risen significantly over the past years. Around $171,000 per year. Plus benefits. The getting's good. The getting's good. The organization has grown rapidly in staff and budget, which some view as building a political advocacy machine funded partly by your money, my friends. Are you paying taxes in Nashville? Congratulations, you're part of the problem. They have affiliated with TIRRC Votes PAC that engages in electoral work. They endorse candidates like Mayor O'Connell. They have ties to national groups like the National Immigration Law Center. Some conservative outlets label it as aligned with broader open borders or La Raza-style networks. They have a lack of detailed transparency on subgrants and outcomes. And let's be perfectly honest here. The financial accountability risks, the repeated audit findings, significant deficiencies in internal controls, the sub-recipient monitoring, and federal grant compliance, legitimate red flags. But you're going to give them almost $1 million. This money is going to be poorly tracked, and it has been poorly tracked with vague categories like community organizing and advocacy. Every taxpayer has 100% reason to worry about waste and loose spending. And exactly what is this money going to? And then when you see the groups that they're aligned with, you have to start asking questions. TIRRC openly does community organizing, leadership training, vigils, know your rights events, demonstrations. This $735,000 would almost undoubtedly be used to amplify their ability to turn out people for rallies, block walks, and pressure campaigns if ICE activity increases in Middle Tennessee. And we've already seen them lead or support responses to Nashville ICE sweeps. This is gross. And this is what happens when you have Democrats in control of a city. Can we get our own Spencer Pratt? Who on earth is going to step up to challenge Mayor Freddie O'Connell? Or are we just going to say that this is fine? We're just going to, you know what? This is fine. This is fine. Andy Ogles has responded to the $700,000 earmark for the TIRRC. I'll tell you Andy Ogles' response when we get back. It's 9:23. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. And let's be honest, foundation issues are something that homeowners, we just don't want to deal with. You'll see a crack, maybe a door's not closing right, your driveway starts sinking a little bit, and you'll think, I'll get to it later. But later actually means more expensive. You should write that in your head. Anytime you say I'll do this later, just know it means more expensive. This is why you can trust United Structural Systems. They've been doing this work since 1994 here in Tennessee, and what I appreciate and what you'll appreciate is their approach. They're not going to send a sales guy worried about a quota. They're not going to push scare tactics. They're not going to push overselling. What they're going to do is they're going to actually take the time to inspect your home, explain what's going on, and tell you the truth. If you don't need repairs, guess what? They'll just say you don't need repairs. And if you do need repairs, you'll understand exactly why. And they handle everything from foundation repair to crawl space work to concrete leveling. And they do it with systems that are designed to last. You're only going to need to do this once. And right now, you can get peace of mind and pay later with 24 months, no interest financing through the end of June. Don't let foundation problems get worse while you wait. Visit USSTN.com or pick up the phone and call them today. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. It's United Structural Systems. Committed to their customers, invested in what matters most. USSTN.com. 929 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Hey, how are you? Joan Jones with the headlines. In less than a minute, we were talking about Freddie O'Connell's earmark for the non-citizens, the undocumented, the TIRRC. The Tennessee Star had a story. The fiscal year budget for 2027 has a proposed $735,000 for the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, a nonprofit supporting illegal aliens living in Tennessee. I got a great text. Somebody, 9853, said, Chris, what about the cutting that is already happening behind the fire department, $500,000? Is that where this money is coming from? Could be. We got to cut. Listen, immigrants are more important than protecting you and your family from fires, obviously. Obviously. You think that's wrong? You might be a racist. You might be. It's way more important. So you cut the fire department by $500,000, but you fund the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition by $735,000.
Obviously.
That's the proposed budget. Andy Ogles responded, aiding and abetting illegal aliens is illegal. Can you put the tweet on the screen for everybody watching on Super Talk TV? Yet the Nashville mayor is sending over $1 million to corrupt NGOs, $700,000 in taxpayer dollars to the TIRRC, and the TNJFON means illegal aliens are getting taxpayer funds to embed in our state, raise our housing prices, steal our benefits, and commit more crime. And then he ended it with a bold statement. He said, arrest O'Connell. I wouldn't be opposed. 931 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top story. Secretary of State Marco Rubio testifying right now before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on the State Department budget requests as negotiations to end a 3-month war in Iran have hit a roadblock. Let's listen into some of what he's talking about right now.
Argue the world cannot depend on one country for 90% of anything, especially 90% of things that are critical to our economies, not from our weapon systems to our pharmaceuticals. We just can't live in a world in which we rely on anybody for 90%.
Yeah, he's speaking there about breaking the U.S. reliance with China. Rubio's going to testify before the House later today. Of course, he'll be talking mostly about Iran. Meantime, President Trump has reportedly laid into Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over a renewed military campaign strike on Hezbollah.
Sources say Trump accused Netanyahu of being ungrateful, calling him crazy, and asking Netanyahu, what the expletive are you doing? The phone call came after Israel escalated its bombing campaign against Hezbollah fighters in Lebanon, ordering strikes in the capital, Beirut. That triggered a mass exodus and prompted Iran's leadership to threaten to call off peace talks with the U.S.
ABC's Karen Waugh there. Hezbollah continues to launch missiles into Israel. Outgoing Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard is posting a video message on X this morning as her husband prepares for his first surgery for bone cancer today.
Good morning. We're getting ready to head into the hospital now for Abraham's surgery. And I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you. With all of our hearts to all of you who have shared such beautiful messages and prayers and well wishes for Abraham.
Tulsi Gabbard resigned her position last week to be at her husband's side. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smells, stains, or just plain old bad tasting water, or maybe you have a generous heart and you want to help the frogs, you need to call my friends at Better Water LLC. Think of it as like a giant Brita filter for your entire house, or they can scale it down to fit under your sink, or they can give you one for your entire business, and they handle everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. Sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, even E. coli. It's not something you want to be drinking. Definitely not something you want to be bathing in. If you got kids or grandkids bathing in that water, not good, my friends, not good. Now, Better Water will test your water for free. And if you have any of the nasty stuff in it, they offer a range of options to clean it up. From reverse osmosis to specialized filters to UV lights, Better Water has you covered. Local company based out of Smyrna. You've probably already tasted their work. You see, they're already treating the water at the local coffee shops and hospitals around town. These guys are total pros, and they can clean up the water at your home or your business. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Call Better Water today. 615-355-6063. 615-355-6063. Let them know that Chris Hand sent you, and they'll test your water for free. You can also find them online at betterwater.com. Thirty-eight minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Is everybody sufficiently riled up? No, knowing that we're cutting all the essential services in Nashville, the fire department, the police department, and then we're going to fund all the non-essential services for undocumented citizens. That's what we're supposed to call them, right?
Yeah.
They're the undocumented.
Undocumented.
Not illegal aliens. That's bigoted.
Yeah, I was driving through the main streets today instead of taking the interstate, and I thought I was in Portland for a second there.
Oh, jeez.
What's going on?
Dude, it's a mess.
It's a little bit of a mess.
An absolute mess. In case you're just joining us, show starts at 9. But we were talking about Freddie O'Connell has submitted a new budget for the city of Nashville. And in the fiscal year 2027, he has $735,000 set aside for the Tennessee Immigrants and Refugee Rights Coalition.
The who? The her.
The Turks. Not those Turks. Not those Turks.
No.
Though if they're undocumented, they'll get some of the money.
Yeah, from Mr. O'Connell.
It's insane. The Turk. TIRRC. Just gross.
Blech.
We're having a budget crisis. We're raising property taxes. We're cutting money from the police. We're cutting money from the fire department. But you know what we actually need? We need more money for them undocumented citizens, right?
Well, they can't work.
It's a shame. It's a
They don't
shame.
have the right documents.
Will someone think of the illegal aliens? Yep, I've been thinking about it. Still want to deport them, actually. Weird. That's actually, the more I think about them, the more I want to deport them. All of them.
Yep, just keeps growing.
Up to and including your abuela who makes fantastic tamales.
See, if you look at this chart here, the more you think about deporting illegal aliens, the more you want them out of your country.
The arrow just goes up.
goes up.
It just keeps going up.
It's kind of wild.
It's insane.
Actually, no, it's pretty common sense.
But it's this group, and they do all sorts of things, like rapid response, protests, community organizing, just pretty much the stuff that we've been seeing outside of Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. Right? Am I wrong in thinking that? It's like you're funding the same thing, and nobody wants it.
Nobody bats an eye.
This is all part of the plan, right? If I told you we were going to deport those illegal aliens, everyone would lose their mind. But if I tell you we're going to cut funding from the fire department and the police department, and we're going to fund these groups to keep the illegal aliens here, it's all according to the plan, guys. Like everybody understands we're going to screw up Nashville, right? Like this is like
more than it already is.
Yeah, and like this is Murphy there's a promo that ran on the station. I don't know if it's still running, but he's like, "What happens when you kill the golden goose?" Right, the goose that lays the golden egg. You're well on your way with Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Soft hands, Freddie.
Yeah,
like just what are we doing? So it's frustrating, and I don't even live in Nashville. I try not to come to Nashville. If it wasn't for this job, I probably wouldn't spend any time in Nashville. And it's because the city's just being degraded before our eyes. Everybody knows it too. Like this isn't a news flash. Even the liberals know it. They don't want to openly admit it, but they see what's happening. And they're moving to places like Murfreesboro, and they're moving to Mount Juliet, and they're moving to Franklin, and they're getting the hell out of Dodge too.
Which, like, I get it, but also
we're full.
Yeah.
Stay
here.
So it's crazy. But we're watching all this stuff happen outside of Newark, New Jersey, outside of Delaney Hall, where they're protesting the immigration services. And it's like, I can only imagine how many nonprofit dollars are funding these protests, riots, as they're busing individuals in. They're from out of state. They have nothing to do with what's happening in New Jersey. You're seeing thousands upon thousands of dollars of supplies. We were watching a video yesterday on the stream, and they cleared out the area, but all the supplies are left behind. And it's like $100 gas masks, all sorts of stuff, liquid IVs, just food, paper towels, just thousands upon thousands of dollars. And it's like Walmart delivery kept dropping stuff off for them. Where are you getting this money? Well, you're getting it from these nonprofit groups. This is community organizing, guys. This is advocacy, y'all. This is the rapid response networks that we desperately need here in Tennessee. But we're watching it play out in New Jersey. And it's not good. It's not good. There's a woman who was outside of the ICE facility in New Jersey, making a bit too much sense for the mainstream media. She runs a social media account called Conservative Black News, and she's making too much sense. She's had a bit too much to think, and she needs to get that in check. But this is what she thinks of the protests outside of Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey.
People are still showing up down here. One guy's like, yeah, I don't know if they're going to let me in. And they're coming in full battle gear. Like they coming for war. My thing is this. You coming for war. Now, if they turn up on you, I don't want to hear any excuses. Don't blame the police. Don't talk about police brutality because you came down here brutalizing the police and the ICE officers who were simply standing down here because they have to go back and forth doing their jobs. Like I posted earlier, the menu of the food and the resources that these folks have is better than a lot of our residents struggling to live in the city of Newark.
And guess what? That's coming to a city near you. If we keep funding these groups here in Nashville to the tune of $735,000 a year, it says, guess what? The food, the resources, it's better than what you have. Freddie O'Connell is earmarking funds for groups that are doing things in New Jersey so that way they can do it here in Tennessee. This isn't like a stretch at all either. This is just the reality. I mean, it's in their own history what they do. Their money at the Tennessee Immigration and Refugee Rights Coalition, it goes to all sorts of funds. They want to advocate against federal immigration enforcement. They want to organize protests and rapid response to enforcement actions. So when you're trying to get the illegal aliens out, well, these groups are going to step in and they're going to support the protesters with the food, with the resources, with the organization. And exactly what we're seeing in New Jersey, that could be coming here very, very soon, especially if Freddie O'Connell and his budget gets approved by the Metro Council. And spoiler alert, you know what's going to happen on June 17th when in 15 days when they vote whether or not to approve Freddie O'Connell's budget? You know what's going to happen, right? That budget is signed, sealed, and delivered. Like, we might as well do the vote today. That budget's solid. That's not going anywhere. They're going to approve that thing. The liberals on the Metro Council, you think they're going to have an issue with $735,000 for Nashville, for the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition? Of course not. And then what is that going to lead to? Chaos here in Tennessee, much like the chaos that we're seeing in New Jersey. And it's gross. Nobody seems to bat an eye. Everything's going according to plan. Shut up, bigot.
It's all propaganda for the midterm elections. This can all be stopped. Our resources can stop being wasted if the public officials, Raz, Mikey Sherrill, Timu, and Dollar Tree Obama, Booker and Jeffries, Andy Kim, if y'all came down here and told these people to go home and stop this nonsense, this could all be put to bed.
I mean, that's where I tend to disagree. I agree with a lot of what she says, but I don't think that these Democrat officials have any power. None. This is above their heads. This is being handed down by the people that fund them. The Timu Obamas, Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker and Mikey Sherrill and Andy Kim, the senator out there. I mean, and to that point, when Senator Andy Kim was out there in front of Delaney Hall, was it like over the weekend? I think it was Friday night, might have been Saturday. He's out there with the megahorn. He's like, guys, if we just stay peaceful and let the ICE vehicles through, we can make our point. And they said, nah, fam. So I think it was a collective, nah, fam. Nah. And then they started throwing rocks at the horses, because why not?
But no, you're fueling the fire. Let's create a problem and say that we solved it so you can reelect us. Stop the madness.
Stop the madness. And listen, that budget proposal for the fiscal year of 2027, that is going to fund madness here in Middle Tennessee. And everybody knows it. Everyone knows it. Hell, it's probably going to fund, I mean, this is the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, not the Nashville Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition. It's probably going to fund madness in Chattanooga and in Knoxville and in Memphis. It's a statewide organization that Freddie O'Connell wants to earmark $735,000 for. Jeez. Freddie O'Connell. Are you shocked? Is anybody stunned? No, of course not. And the chaos that we're seeing outside of New Jersey is chaos that will be here. I'm just giving you a heads up. And DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, he knows what time it is. The rioters are sponsored by somebody, he says. Yeah, it's all these advocacy groups.
Allowed visitation to take place. During the riots, we haven't been allowed visitation to take place because it's not safe for the families to transit through the rioters. These rioters are organized. These rioters are sponsored by somebody. We see Antifa flags out there. They're not just exercising their First Amendment. These are violent protesters that are there to injure everybody that's even bystander.
He's absolutely right. I think we need a tougher whole of government approach against all of these networks. We need to shut them down once and for all. Break out the batons, break out the fire hoses, boys. Maybe we need a little bit of police brutality back on the menu. Who says no? I wouldn't. Don't charge them with anything. Just whoop them. Whoop them and send them home. And to be fair, things have gotten worse. They have. Say what you will about Kristi Noem. Say what you will about Greg Bovino. But they were heavy-handed. And that was a good thing. I have many, many friends who frequent these protests. You know that. Savannah Hernandez, Bo and Gabe. These guys are always out. And one thing I hear from everyone who frequents these protests is that things have gotten worse. Things have deteriorated. And I think it's because the administration is a little bit scared to go heavy-handed on these protesters because they don't want another Renee Nicole Good situation. They don't want another Alex Preddy situation. And my feelings is optics be damned. That's what I think. Secretary Mullen was asked yesterday about Greg Bovino, who's been critical of the operations that have been taking place since he was forced to resign.
One other question.
Yes.
Former Border Patrol official Gregory Bovino has been critical, saying...
I never met the guy. I never met the guy. No, he's irrelevant to me. I don't know who he is. What else, guys?
I think that's so disrespectful. I'm just being perfectly honest. Like, if Bovino is irrelevant to you, like, what are we doing? I've never met the guy that's irrelevant to me. The guy that actually did a good job. And I'm telling you this from people that have been on the ground at these protests. Border Patrol was in a lot better position under Greg Bovino than they are currently. This is from people that I've spoken with that are at these protests. The protesters feel emboldened. The rioters feel emboldened. And it's because we have taken a softer approach because of optics. That's gross. 9:52. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And I don't have to tell you, you know, summer's heating up. But Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they're keeping you cool and giving you a chance to hit the beach. If you purchase a new home air conditioning system during the month of June, you're going to be entered to win a free 3-day beach getaway. Now, Busy Bee is going to cover everything from the gas to the lodging. They'll even take care of 2 meals a day. One lucky winner is going to be announced live on their Facebook page, so make sure you like Busy Bee on Facebook. If you're good on the AC, but you're looking to improve your home's air quality, save 10% or more on their new deluxe air duct cleaning package. or 5% on their mid-tier package. You need plumbing service? You can take $100 off any plumbing repair over $500. And for a limited time, you'll receive a free Yeti cooler with any whole home drain, repipe, or water repipe project. Again, that beach getaway drawing is open exclusively to customers who purchase a new AC system in June. One winner will be selected. Restrictions do apply. Call Busy Bee today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, or find them online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and
Sure.
schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt,
All
we
right.
appreciate you.
Should more data centers be welcomed in Nashville? Metro Council is taking up that issue tonight. That story and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joe and Jones in the newsroom. We got headlines on the way in less than 2 minutes. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Hey, how are you? You're welcome to join the show any way you'd like. 615-737-9986. So you can listen anywhere. All the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us as well. We're on Supertalk TV. The big ones, YouTube and Rumble. Hit subscribe. Hit like. Do it not just for me, but because Mason has a big fancy new job and he's now in charge of it. So it directly correlates with his performance review. What?
You're not wrong.
It's literally like if you guys don't want Mason to continue getting health insurance, don't like the page.
Yeah, I was like I now split the ice cubes with Chris's kids.
Yeah,
they get some, I get some. We're all happy if you hit that like button.
If you don't want Mason only be eating bread and water, he's a growing boy.
Please
hit subscribe.
Please,
please. It's free to do. Nobody's asking you for any money. We're just asking you to create 10 to 15 YouTube profiles. With different email addresses and hit subscribe. For Mason.
For me.
For Mason.
That's all I'm asking.
Brian texted in, and I had mentioned we need more deportations up to and including your abuela.
Yeah.
And he said, if abuela came legally and became a citizen, she could sell those sweet tamales for an awesome profit. Closed borders and the free market are undefeated. Fact check, true. A lot of people agree. 9350 said, I agree 100%. Give law enforcement the power to thump heads if needed. If you will play a stupid game, you will win a stupid prize. And then 8717 said, we're having these problems because this administration has turned into a joke. Listen, you knew the optics battle was going to be here when it came to mass deportations. You knew the optics battle was going to be here with immigration facilities. And we talked about that even in the lead up to the election. You're going to have to say optics be damned. One of the main reasons Donald Trump and this administration got put back into power is because of mass deportations, and they have backed away from even saying the words mass deportations. We need more, not less. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And when Metro Council meets tonight, they'll be considering a resolution that would call for the termination of Nashville Electric Service CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin. That resolution was filed 4 months ago after the disastrous response to the January ice storm. Here's Danielle Ledbetter at WSMV4.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell has said he does not have the authority to remove Teresa Broyles-Applin or any members of the NES board, but under the Metro Charter, the Metro Council does have that power. If 3/4 of council members vote in favor of it, they can remove members of the NES board.
Broyles-Applin has been quoted as saying NES didn't meet the expectations of customers through that storm. Metro Council is also considering a half-cent grocery tax cut tonight. It was proposed by the mayor as part of next year's budget. News 2 reports it's not much, only $72 in savings for the average nuclear family per year. The nuclear part was mine, not the mayor's, but it would come at a cost. Roughly $9 million would be shorted from the Metro budget. And as a result, the mayor is asking all city departments to cut their budgets. Well, welcome to Nuclear Family Month, as designated by the Tennessee General Assembly. A resolution there in April. News 2 reports LGBTQ advocates are crying foul because it steps on the message of their so-called Pride Month.
The resolution refers to families with one husband and one wife as, quote, God's design for humanity.
It's a resolution that simply honors the nuclear family and the benefit it has been throughout history and the formulation of this state and this country.
Supporters say the measure recognizes the role families play in society. LGBTQ advocates disagree, saying it excludes other families and stands in contrast to Pride Month.
When the government comes in and says June, which everybody knows is Pride Month, is Nuclear Family Month, yes, there is a bit of petty insulting going on there.
That is Equality Project's Chris Sanders speaking last there. He says calling June Nuclear Family Month targets LGBTQ supporters. That is the latest news. Stick around for your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Yesterday during the lightning round, admittedly, we had run out of time. We wanted to do the story on Henry Novak, okay, who is an 18-year-old university student that was stabbed by a Sikh in England, Southampton, to be particular, and full disclosure, I wasn't able to give it the time it deserved. There was a report from GB News in Britain, and this guy covered it. He covered it really, really well. And I was super impressed on two fronts. The fact that the guy on TV in England was saying what he was saying. But I was also infuriated because as of May 29th, there had been 0 stories from the AP, 0 from PBS, the New York Times, NPR, Wall Street Journal, CNN, the Washington Post, Reuters, MS Now for Henry Novak. And I felt like this story needed more attention. And again, full disclosure, I don't even remember what we were talking about yesterday, but it's just the news cycle moves fast. And this was a story from England, and we didn't get a lot of time to spend on it. But it seems like everything always happens for a reason, right? And last night, as I'm doing my show prep, body cam footage has since been released of the incident. And it is even more infuriating than you could have possibly imagined. And we're going to detail all of this. We're going to spend an ample amount of time on this because Lord knows that it needs to have time spent on it. So we're going to tell you what happened to Henry Novak. On December 3rd, 2025, this happened a long time ago. Southampton, England, 18-year-old university student Henry Novak was walking home after a night out with friends when he was attacked by 23-year-old Vikram Digwa. Novak was stabbed 5 times, including a fatal wound to the heart, with a Sikh ceremonial kirpan knife. Digwa then called the police, claiming that he was the victim of a racist assault by Novak. When officers arrived, they handcuffed the severely bleeding Novak and let him stay there on the ground as he bled out and died. He was pleading with the officers that he had been stabbed. He was saying he couldn't breathe. They treated him as the aggressor because of racism. Henry then lost consciousness and died at the scene. Now, Digwa has since been convicted of the murder and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 21 years. This is just happening in recent days. But the case is sparking outrage because of how the police handled it and how they've been influenced by the anti-racism protocols that prioritize the attacker's claims, and it has led to an official apology and an investigation. But people are irate, and they should be. This is the report from GB News, and then we're going to get into the developments. We have the 911 call from the perpetrator, and we also have body cam footage from the police at the scene. This is one of those instances where you're going to be watching us on the stream because it does paint another element when you have the video to go along with the audio. You'll get a lot from the audio, trust me, if you can only tune in on radio. But if you join us over on YouTube or Rumble, you'll get a full picture. This is how Patrick Christie covered it on GB News, and good on him for doing it. I mentioned this yesterday. Reporting like this could cost you your job in England.
We've just had Britain's George Floyd moment, except the victim in question was an innocent British young lad and not an American serial criminal and heavy drug user.
I mean, first 12 seconds in, that is a radical thing to say in England. I know we can get away with a lot here in America, but like to say that on British TV, wild. And it's important to point out that if Henry Novak was an ethnic minority in England, we would have already had the body cam footage released. We would have already had ministers calling for justice. We would have already had a parliamentary inquiry scheduled. There would have been wall-to-wall media coverage, and there would have been mass protests and civil unrest. I think that all of those things 100% would have happened, but he was white, so nobody gave a damn. And I hate to break it to you, But that's not reverse racism, which some people like to call it. That's just racism. That's plain and simple racism. He was white, so nobody cared.
Henry Novak was stabbed in the heart, his legs, his face, and his jaw. He was attacked by this man, Vikram Digwa, who was yesterday found guilty of murder. What happened was that Digwa's brother, Gurpreet, called police after the attack and falsely claimed that Henry Novak had been racist towards his brother. They did not call an ambulance, even though they must have known that Novak had been stabbed.
They didn't call an ambulance. Why, you might ask? Well, it's because of the 999 call, which is their equivalent of 911. Now, listen to the way that they describe it on the 999 call.
Police emergency.
Yeah, we just been attacked by someone racially. Yeah, this.
Right.
He just attacked it, took it to start. Sorry? Huh? Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
Except that's not what happened at all. Not one bit. That was a lie. But if you lean in and you say that you were attacked racially, well, immediately all of the police are on your side in Great Britain. No trying to determine what happened. No worry about the boy who is bleeding out on the ground. No, that's no concern for anyone.
Then Digwa's mother arrived at the scene. She just turned up, and she took and then hid the ceremonial knife that was used to stab Henry Novak to death. She was then found guilty of assisting an offender.
So the brother makes a fake 911 call, 999 in England. The mother shows up on the scene and hides the murder weapon. And we don't hear about this story for months. Why? Because Henry Novak was white. Got it.
So then what happened next? Well, it appears that 3 female police officers turned up. Henry Novak told them that he'd been stabbed. They said, "No, you haven't." They then handcuffed him, and they didn't check him for stab wounds.
And this has now been confirmed by the body cam footage, which I'm going to play for you on the YouTube stream. You can watch the whole thing unfold. He literally says to the police officer, as he's bleeding out and turning ice pale, white as a ghost because he's losing so much blood, he says, "I've been stabbed." And the police officer actually laughed at him and said, "I don't think you have, mate. I don't think you have." He has blood on his face. He has blood on his hands. He's turning white as a sheet. And the police officer says, "No, I don't think you have, mate." You kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm not. I wish this was a joke. But it's the reality of what happened on the ground. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see the body cam footage. If you're listening on the radio, you'll hear everything that went down.
What's happened to you, right?
You hear instantly, "I've been stabbed." What's happened to you? "I've been stabbed."
What's happened to you, right?
This is as they're putting him in handcuffs. He's sitting on the ground. They're putting him in handcuffs. He says, "I've been stabbed." He is no threat to anyone. None. They're putting him in handcuffs. "I've been stabbed."
You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? I don't think you have, mate.
"I don't think you have, mate." Oh, gee. Great detective work there, officer. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, look at the hand of Henry Novak. Look at how pale this young man is. He's pale because he's lost copious amounts of blood, mate. I don't think you have. I can only imagine that he was ice cold. I don't think you have. You see, we got a phone call that says you happen to be a racist. You happen to be a bigot, mate. Into the handcuffs you go.
That's what. And then you've got nothing. I want to keep you up.
Look at his hand. He has blood on his hands. His ice cold, pale as a sheet hands. He tells him, I've been stabbed. I don't think you have, mate.
Whereabouts? Don't think you have, mate.
This is as he's holding his hand that has blood on it. What am I missing here? What? No media coverage. No scrutiny. No care for the boy. Are you kidding me? I don't care if he did the most racist, vile thing ever. He deserved some medical attention. But he didn't. The attacker knew that if he said that he did something racist, well, then he would be good to go. And fun fact, the perpetrator was never handcuffed. Never. Not once. And when they got him to the police station for questioning, they even let him pick out his own food because we wouldn't want to subject him to something that was against his religion, right? This isn't reverse racism. This is just racism.
Hand?
No, I can't breathe.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate.
Yeah.
I can't breathe.
This is like can we get him out?
Mind to foot.
Nothing happens.
How many times does he have to say, I can't breathe? How many times does he have to say, I've been stabbed? The police do absolutely nothing on the scene except handcuff him and leave him on the ground to bleed out and die, which he did. And the only reason that we have the body cam footage is because of Henry Novak's family. Lord knows what they're going through. Absolutely horrendous. The family of Henry Novak gave permission for this footage to be released because they wanted the public to see what authorities did to their son. So the police released the body cam footage. I've been stabbed. I don't think you have, mate. I don't think you have. Again, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, I just want you to see a high-definition image of the color of Henry Novak's hand. There's blood on it, and it is white as a sheet. It is whiter than this piece of paper that I'm holding. Anybody with eyes to see can tell something is seriously wrong with this young man. Insane. Henry Novak's father, I mean, I can't imagine. I would be irate. I would be losing my ever-loving mind. But this guy, I mean, just an absolute example of strength, gave a press conference yesterday after the guilty verdict was handed down, surrounded by family and friends, all who look completely torn up about this. The mother is just crying. The sister is an absolute wreck. And Henry Novak's father delivers this statement.
A man openly carrying a large knife on the streets of Britain. That knife was used to take Henry's life. He should have been safe walking home. Instead, he became another young life lost to the brutal reality of knife crime in this country. Henry had been stabbed multiple times, and as his chest filled with blood, he tried to escape. He was chased, abused, and filmed by Vikram Digwa and others. When police arrived, Henry was lying on the floor, barely able to sit up and plainly in severe medical distress. With his final words, he told officers that he could not breathe. He told them he had been stabbed.
And they didn't give a damn. They didn't give a damn because they said, actually, you're a racist. And we have all the evidence we need of that because someone claimed that you're a racist. Insane. Absolutely insane. Pressure is surging to criminally prosecute the police who allowed Henry Novak to be stabbed, despite him saying on camera that he can't breathe. They allowed him to die, excuse me. Rupert Lowe, an MP, said we need prosecutions for what happened to Henry Novak. Keir Starmer has finally responded because finally this is getting some media attention. And I want to put this into context. Keir Starmer He posted a heck of a statement. This is an awful, shocking case. Henry's loved ones have gone through the trauma of a long trial and endured Henry's killer making up appalling claims about their son, who was thoughtful, kind, and deeply loved. It is right that the IOPC is investigating the police response to this senseless murder, and we must end the cycle of tragedy by tackling the horror of knife crime. Eye roll. How about we attack the horror of the invasion of Britain? Said Henry's family, friends, his university, and the city of Southampton will continue to feel his loss, and our thoughts will always be with them. It's a good statement. It's a bit too late, though. You see, when George Floyd died, it took Keir Starmer 5 days to issue a statement on X. 5 days. When Henry Novak was murdered, it took him 181 days to issue a statement on X. He didn't issue a statement because he cared. He issued a statement because he had to. This is the same Keir Starmer who said that two-tier policing worries are a non-issue. We're watching two-tier policing issues happening in real time. Vikram Digwa's family, during the court case, viciously attacked Henry Novak's family in the courtroom, screamed racist in their faces after the life sentence was handed down for stabbing their son. And here's the worst part, just so you know. He's not even going to serve the 21 years. He's not. He'll probably serve 2/3 of that, if we're being perfectly honest. And they screamed racist at his family. Disgusting. This is the quintessential British. They should be sent home. Security had to intervene in the courtroom. An entire family of liars and thugs and cowards, and they're doubling down in the middle of the court case. No shame. None. No remorse. None. That's what evil looks like. That's what evil looks like. And they tell you, if you're against the third world immigration, well, that's a you issue. These cases, that's part and parcel, man. That's living in the West. When you import the third world, you bring third world problems. Britain needs to be a warning sign for America. Unfortunately, not enough people are paying attention. It's 10:23. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. 4 kids, 2 dogs, baseball season, a lot of red dirt being tracked into the house, coming in and out the front and back door. And at some point, my wife and I, we look at the carpets and we think we need some backup, and that's when we call our friends at Zero Res. And what we like is their approach. They're the Maha of carpet cleaning. No harsh chemicals, no soap residue left behind. They use their exclusive ZR water cleaning system, and it actually gets carpets insanely clean and helps them stay clean longer. And again, as a dad, and my wife loves it too, the Maha approach to cleaning your home, it's right in line with what we need. And if you check the reviews, it's obvious that we're not the only fans of Zero Res in Nashville. Thousands of families around town are using them. And right now is the perfect time to do it. You got a lot of kids coming in and out of the house. Clean it up with our friends at Zero Res. 2- and 3-room specials going on right now. Give them a call and get the deal. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376. And if you don't want to talk to people, you can always book online. ZeroResNashville.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
So in Chicago, you had a massive ICE raid. They were pinned in by a bunch of locals and some gang members as well. ICE was. And these guys, these gang members, they had weapons, high-powered weapons. And these ICE agents, they are blocked in by hundreds of these locals. And there's a guy on the roof pointing something at them as well. And so ICE ended up to get out of this because they're calling for backup and the whole thing. They ended up releasing some tear gas, and everybody starts freaking out because there is in Chicago, this is so insane, a temporary restraining order that does not allow tear gas to be released unless the ICE agents face an imminent threat or they give 2 prior warnings. Now, first of all, I don't believe that ICE would use tear gas unless it was an imminent threat. But the point is that they're making it harder and harder for ICE to do their job. So, of course, Gregory Bavino, and if you don't know who Bavino is, he is the head of this particular mission, right, in Chicago. And he is being accused of violating the restraining order that does not allow ICE to use tear gas unless agents face an imminent threat or they're given 2 prior warnings. So he hauls in, I love this, Bovino hauls in the tape that if you're watching on YouTube TV, Super Talk TV, you can see they bring in drone footage. They bring in these people making threats against the ICE agents and so forth. And so I love that he does bring in the receipts. And you know what? If that's what these judges are going to do, and if that's what the liberals are going to do, and if that's what these illegal alien gang members are going to do when we come into, their neighborhoods to find the gangbanger illegal aliens, we are going to go even harder. You're going to mess with us? We're going to mess with you harder. I love, love, love that attitude from Bavino.
The Boring Company is hiring. Details ahead. Coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines on the way in less than 2 minutes. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Getting a lot of texts regarding the Henry Novak story that we just did. A lot of people are laughing about the cure. And, I say laughing. That's Nobody's actually laughing. It's more like an eye roll, a massive eye roll from the audience when Keir Starmer says, "And we must end the cycle of tragedy by tackling the horror of knife crime." You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You know what would have actually protected Henry Novak? The Second Amendment. Yep. If he had a weapon on him, a concealed carry permit, this story would have never happened. It would have been donezo. Instantly. There was a lot of blood on the ground. There was a lot of blood on his hands. And when he was saying that he had been stabbed, they said, I don't think you have, mate. I don't think you have. This isn't a knife crime problem. This is a culture problem. And the culture has been imported into England by the elected officials. We're seeing it here in America. I mean, not to the scale that they've seen it in England, but we're seeing it here in America. Make no mistake about it. My dad used to always tell me, like, look to Europe, look to Canada. We're 10 years away from it here in America. You're absolutely right. It's a culture issue. And just so you know how the culture reacts, there was a reporter from GB News, and he was out on the street doing a story about how the African and third world migrants were 20 times more likely to commit sexual offenses than native Brits. And a man on the street, almost attacked him for saying it, and spoiler alert, didn't seem quintessentially British.
Or what? 20 times more likely to commit sexual offences than
the Brits?
Yeah, native Brits.
The Brits that colonized the whole world, you mean? Drone is going, I'm holding everything back not to break your jaw.
Well, you can do it. You would get arrested.
I don't give a bro.
You'll get arrested.
I don't give a
This doesn't make your argument look good.
I came out here for
This doesn't make your argument
look good.
I came out here for Came out
I
here.
ain't come out here to talk.
For violence.
Yes!
Well, there you go. That's the left. That is the degenerate, violent left. You give facts.
Who started it?
You came all the way over.
Who started it?
If England is so bad, you could always go home. 10:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, President Trump has named a replacement for Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. He's temporarily tapped Bill Pulte to take that post. Pulte is the current head of the Federal Housing and Finance Agency, the one that's gone after Letitia James and Adam Schiff recently for mortgage fraud. Here's Pulte talking about the president's ban on institutional investors from buying single-family homes.
Look, what's a target of the administration is getting the American dream back on track after 4 years of Joe Biden destroying the housing market. The good news is we have a builder-in-chief, not just a commander-in-chief. He understands the real estate market.
Now, Pulte is reportedly going to pull a Marco Rubio here, keeping his existing titles as housing director and chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, along with the new position as director of DNI. The Boring Company's Music City Loop project continues, and the company's now looking for more staff. The company's holding a hiring event on Friday. You can check out the list of jobs available at boringcompany.com/careers. As you make your way back to Tennessee from your summer vacation, make sure you check out the new Entering Tennessee signs. Governor Bill Lee unveiling those signs yesterday at an event near the state border in East Tennessee. The first redesign of these signs since 1995. They've got a vintage feel featuring rivers, lush forest, and a craggy mountainside. The first sign was posted at a welcome center off I-26 in Unicoi County. TDOT is installing these new roadside signs at 16 interstate entry points over the coming months. I've posted the design at my X account, along with the Welcome to Nuclear Family Month post. You can check them both out at Joan Jones WTN. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock Store. If you need another reason to go to the Glock Store, you should get to training so that way you can protect yourself and your family. We were there over the weekend for their unbelievable open house. Thousands of people coming through, and a lot of fun was had by all. A lot of gear was given away, over $50,000, over $60,000 in unbelievable prizes. But my highlight was the fact that I got to have my two boys there who had probably the most fun out of anyone. And my son, Brooks, who is 8, he got to meet Lenny McGill, and he personally thanked him because we had Lenny on the show, was it last week before the open house? And Lenny said, you gotta start training your kids up, between 8 and 12, depending on the kid. And he said, Mr. McGill, thank you. My dad is going to take me now to the Glock Store to get some training, and we are. We're going to set him up down there at the Glock Store real soon in the private shooting room with a private instructor, not lane ranges. I think everybody should be training up their kids at an appropriate age. Every kid is different, but if your kid is ready, man, they'll help you train at the Glock Store. You always see those stories where a kid repels a home invader. Well, they didn't do that by accident. They did that because they knew what to do. They knew what that tool is used for, how serious of a tool it is, and how to handle it. So how do you get your kids ready? Well, you can do that at the Glock Store in their private shooting rooms. You can book a session today at shoot270.com, or you can hit the website, as always, glockstore.com. Remember, it's minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, and always open online, glockstore.com. 37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen to us anywhere on all the apps, the FM dial. You can watch us as well on YouTube and Rumble. Hit subscribe while you're there. Free to do. We're talking about a story that the mainstream media wants absolutely nothing to do with. The murder of 18-year-old British man Henry Novak by a Sikh individual. Why hasn't this gotten any coverage? Well, it's because the person murdered was white. That's why. I mean, listen, that's just the reality of the situation. If the races had been reversed, this would have been the biggest news story in England, and we probably would have seen riots and protests and civil unrest, but we didn't. And we probably still won't. In recent days, we've seen body cam footage released where the police show up, and there was a 999 call, which is Britain's equivalent of 911. And the brother of Vikram Digwa, the perpetrator of the murder, said, "Oi, mate." He said something racist. We were attacked racially by a white guy. So the police showed up, found Henry Novak on the ground, bleeding, pale as a ghost, and they decided to handcuff him. When he said to police, "I've been stabbed," the police officer responded with, "I don't think you have, mate." He had blood on his hands and his face. He'd clearly been stabbed. There was blood on the ground. He was pale as a ghost, probably ice cold. And the response from the police officers that showed up was, "I don't think you have, mate." They handcuffed him. You know who they didn't handcuff? Vikram Digwa. He's the perpetrator of the attack. Tommy Robinson, who spent some time in prison for hate speech, for speaking out against stuff just like this, responded on X.
Even after the police found that Henry had been stabbed multiple times, they still didn't handcuff Digba. He was not handcuffed. He weren't handcuffed to get him put in the police car. He was treated. They took him to choose what food he wanted with no handcuffs on. Anyone ever been arrested? You're always handcuffed. Well, white boys are anyway. Why weren't he handcuffed at all? Why was the dying white kid handcuffed behind his back? Arms behind his back. He wasn't putting up a struggle at all. He was laying there trying to survive. Why was he handcuffed? Why wasn't Digba, once you found stab wounds in a young child, why wasn't he fucking handcuffed?
Oh,
he wasn't handcuffed at all. I've just read it all.
He was a bit angry. He dropped an F-bomb.
Understandably so.
Understandably so. It's a little exclusive for the stream. We don't have a dump button on YouTube and Rumble. One of the reasons why you should watch there. Why wasn't he effing handcuffed? When you saw the boy had been stabbed, why wasn't he effing handcuffed? It's a reasonable question. There was no murder weapon at the scene either, because the mother had showed up to the scene and took the ceremonial knife and hid it. If you're watching this on Super Talk TV, I got a picture of the knife. This is Mario Nawfal posted this. Great account to follow. He said, "This is the knife that Vikram Digwa used to kill Henry Novak." He said he carried it as part of his Sikh faith. It's an Indian religion. Sikhs in the UK are allowed to carry knives called kirpans, but for regular Brits, if they carry a knife the same size, they face a prison sentence. Baptized Sikhs say carrying the kirpan is a mandatory article of faith. It is not negotiable. However, the UAE introduced strict rules around carrying them, so many Sikhs residing in or traveling to the UAE opt to leave their kirpan at home or wear a symbolic miniature pendant. It's time for the UK to do the same. Check out the knife. I mean, that is a big knife. Again, listen, I'm not even here to say that like you shouldn't be allowed to carry knives. I'm pro weapons. I think an armed society is a polite society. So I'm not here to make the argument that Sikhs shouldn't be allowed to carry knives. I'm actually here to make the argument that Brits should be allowed to carry guns. I think that would solve a lot of these issues, personally. But finally, this story is gaining some global attention. It's about damn time. Nolan in Madison wants to weigh in on the conversation. What's up, Nolan?
Great job fear-mongering. Hey, what do you think of Trump putting a complete bootlicker in charge of national intelligence?
I haven't
Is he like trying to pick the absolute worst people possible?
Fear-mongering. Hey, do you have any thoughts on Henry Novak being handcuffed by police while he was saying, "I've been stabbed," and they say, I don't think you have, mate. Any thoughts on that? Because that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the response. We're talking about a crime that hasn't been covered by any mainstream sources. That's what we're talking about, actually.
Why is a low-rating show in Nashville talking about a knife murder in England? That seems kind of odd.
Because nobody else will. Thanks for your attention to this matter. British officials are starting to pay attention, though. That was our seminar caller. Kick rocks. UK Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch commented on this.
Nigel Farage said today it should be white lives matter. Are you making the same point?
It should be everyone matters. It should be everyone matters. We should not make this about Nigel Farage. This is about Henry Novak. And I listened to his father, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. And this morning I watched that body cam footage, and I just kept thinking, what if that was my boy? That his last moments were spent in handcuffs. He knew he was dying, and he could see the confusion, his attacker claiming that he had been a racist. It's an awful, awful way for anyone to die. And I don't think anyone should, it doesn't matter whether it's politicians or the police or the public. The first place we need to start is what that boy had gone through and what his family is going through. That case shows that something has gone very horribly wrong with policing.
Something's gone very, very, very horribly wrong with Britain in general. And everybody knows it. We've known it for a while. But this case is an exclamation point. This is a critical flashpoint in the immigration conversation in Britain. And it needs to be. This needs to be amplified loudly. And we need to take note of it here. Because this is coming to our streets too. It's already here. I mean, you look at Dearborn, Michigan. You look at places in Texas, the Colony Ridge. I mean, over and over again, we're seeing cultural invaders that don't assimilate with our culture, and we're supposed to just sit down and take it.
Rest in peace, dear Henry. The world is a much, much lesser place without you. Terrible. And now I will try and control the deep, deep, heartfelt feelings that I have.
Speaking right now is Peter Blexley. He's a former Met detective in London.
There is, of course, a lot more of that body-worn footage that can be seen online. I would issue a warning to people. It's a really, really unpleasant watch, but you can find it. It runs to over 3 minutes, which Hampshire Police finally released last night.
And they only released it because Henry Novak's family wanted everyone to see what happened to their boy.
I've heard a lot of apologists for the police, including temporary Detective Chief Constable France last week and his statement. What a clown he is. The Police and Crime Commissioner, Donna Jones, I've debated with her on the media, and quite simply she has the intellect of a single-cell amoeba. And other former police officers who are leaping to the defence of those officers that were the first on scene. Okay, and their arguments are, sometimes, there was a 12-minute phone call from Digweed and his brother into the control room, okay, and the officers that attended must have had it in their minds what they were briefed by the controller. Okay, in other words, the allegation that there had been a racist attack, allegedly by Henry, of course, which was a complete pack of lies. So their defence of these officers is that they are going there with what they're told by the control room in their heads. Right. If you watch the opening scene of that body-worn camera, you will see Digweed's brother propping up Henry Novak against the wall of this house. Okay? So let's just dynamically, instantly assess the situation. Imagine that we are police officers. We've been told there's been a racist attack by a white man on a brown-faced man, and we turn up, and the first thing we see is the brother of the brown-faced victim propping up the white man against the wall. Hang on a minute, right? If your brother gets assaulted, would you be propping up the man who is the alleged assailant up against the wall as if you're giving some form of first aid? No, of course you wouldn't. So instantaneously, you're going to find out what's gone on. I mean, instantaneously.
But there was no police work done at the scene. They just assumed, well, he's white. The other person is brown. He must be an evil racist. Nigel Farage is speaking out against it. He says that this is proof of the two-tier policing that Keir Starmer swears doesn't exist in the UK.
He was actually treated in a way that meant an accusation of a racial slur was treated more seriously than an act of murder. What does he say? I can't breathe. Familiar words? Remember career criminal George Floyd, who died in appalling circumstances in Midwest America a few years ago. Remember the reaction to that and the way the police behaved. Within a few days, Keir Starmer was taking the knee.
5
Black
days.
Lives Matter. It's exploded all over the country. Churchill's statue was defaced. The cenotaph was vandalised. And yet, what has the public reaction been from our leaders and politicians, and indeed, to be frank, much of the media to this? Silence. Absolute silence. Proof, if ever there was any, that we're living in a two-tier culture in this country where the rights and privileges of white people matter less than those of ethnic minorities.
He's absolutely right. There's no getting around it. Tony in Montreal, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Tony?
How you doing, Chris? I'm enraged by the caller in Tennessee that was condemning you for bringing up something that nobody is bringing up. And I'm from Canada, and to the caller that thinks that killing of that individual British person for only saying, why are you carrying a knife, which is a knife. Okay, we have the same problem here in Canada where these kids were carrying turpans into school, and a lawyer by the name of Julius Gray said it was a constitutional issue of religious freedom for them to carry a knife into school. Well, how about a religion that says I can carry an AK-45? Is that good too? Because that's what a knife is to me. And that kid that died, okay, those cops, every one of them should suffer the same consequence. They should be involved. They're all in the conspiracy. They did not treat that poor boy properly. They should all face murder charges. Listen, if George Floyd got that reaction, then the equal hypocrites that are in Antifa, the Marxists, and all of these people across the nation that believe that people were mistreated and George Floyd was mistreated. Well, it's the same thing. A human being was killed by a person that perpetrated a murder. Therefore, the outrage should be the same thing, just like the conservative Lafarge or whatever his name is reaction. What is this guy Starmer doing? He's destroying the country of England. Okay, Starmer, and I call it Starmerism. We have the same Starmerism coming to this country where anybody that speaks out against the left is immediately criminalized, just like California is doing to that poor kid that was, I guess he's a undercover or he's a journalist that's discovering corruption, and now they have an act in his name.
Nick Shirley.
Mr. Shirley, to criminalize him or to give him penalties. Where are we going with this, Chris? You and me speaking against the government is our right. It's our bloody right to speak against governments. And we can speak against Trudeau, or we can speak against Carney, or we can speak against Reagan, or we can speak against Nixon. That was the way it was, okay? And now, when you speak against a government, you're criticized for bringing out the truth. Look, if you're a country that believes in the justice system and there's corruption and theft of billions of dollars, then you're allowed to call it out. And if you see a murder in the street, it shouldn't matter that it's a black person or a white person. Whoever is committing the crime should go to jail, and whoever's in government should say that this is unacceptable conduct. Don't call it knife murder. It's murder by immigration, which is an attack on the current system that we have in North America.
Yep. Tony, you're absolutely right, my friend. But, the tragedy of knife crime has to be taken seriously in England. Let's go to Deb in the borough on Henry Novak. What's up, Deb?
Hey, Chris. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I just wanted to let you know that you're not the only one covering it. Carl Higbee on Newsmax has covered it.
Yes.
And with that said, it really shouldn't matter if it's Sikh or Muslim or whatever. If it's a crime against innocent citizen, it's a crime. It shouldn't matter.
Yeah, but, listen, all you have to do is say that he said something racist, and then you don't have anything to worry about. We appreciate the call, Dev. Somebody on the text line 0323 called it repressive tolerance. You could also call it toxic empathy. This is just the latest flashpoint in England. This is after we have seen thousands of girls groomed by these same types of individuals that have been imported into the country. I say groomed, and when I say groomed, I mean raped. But you're not allowed to talk about that either. And don't you dare post about it on Facebook. I hope this wakes some people up. Lord willing, it will. I hope that the young man didn't die in vain. I hope that this actually creates some change in the country and a lot of people get rightfully pissed. It's 10:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The guaranteed offer is the simplest, least stressful way to sell your home. You go to our website, you fill out a quick form, we set an appointment, we bring you an all-cash offer. Literally, there's no lockbox on the front of your house, there's no showings, we pay all cash, we close in as little as 21 days, stress-free. We've helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell your home the hassle-free way with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate.
Metro Council set to take up a proposed cut to Nashville's local grocery tax tonight. They're asking the state to do the same. Details coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Ken's back, 10:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Headlines with Mr. Weaver in less than 2 minutes. The audience is dying to know.
Yes, sir.
Was it a titch of the Rhea?
No, it wasn't a titch of the Rhea.
All right. We were taking bets yesterday.
That would have,
I lost. This is why I don't bet.
Good thing it wasn't.
The Kalshi odds were in my favor. I don't know. You doing all right, though?
Yeah, I think so.
We're happy to have you back.
I'm back. I'm glad you guys are happy. I'm glad to be with you.
We're very excited. Hey, on the way, Tony, our favorite Canadian, had brought up Nick Shirley.
Yeah.
Once again, CBS is basically piggybacking on Nick Shirley's reporting. I think CBS has figured out a very winning formula. What you do is you watch Nick Shirley's Twitter account, and then you do the exact same story, and you call it breaking news. Listen, the CBS viewers don't know any different. I don't think any of them have Twitter accounts. But they were going over assets that were seized by fraudsters, and they're in a warehouse. U.S. Attorney Bill Esseley, is it Esseley or Esseley? Doesn't matter. Anyway, he's there with CBS. And they're literally in a warehouse, and they're like, look at all these luxury vehicles. And I'm like, where have I seen this before? And it's like, oh, yeah, every piece of reporting Nick Shirley has ever done before. I don't want to throw too much shade their way, but CBS is actually covering real news. We'll talk about that when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Dry week ahead. Warmer temperatures returning. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Metro Council set to take up a proposed cut to Nashville's local grocery tax to try to help families struggling financially. The mayor is asking for a half-cent reduction, which would save the average family about $72 a year. Tennessee Grocers and Convenience Store Association President Rob Eichert supports the cut, telling News 2 what they're seeing from shoppers.
They're taking advantage of BOGOs, and they're looking for items that may be approaching a best used by date.
Julie Smith is the chief communications officer for Mayor Freddie O'Connell, telling News 2 the move is going to cost the city about $9 million and require modest cuts across departments.
As a government, we need to live within our means. And so we have asked the departments to make modest reductions of about 1 to 1.5%.
So council will meet tonight for the first reading of the mayor's budget. That will need to be finalized and approved by June 30th. A proposed data center next to the zoo is drawing strong pushback from zoo officials and some metro leaders. Plans filed by Georgia-based DC Blocks show a nearly 70,000 square foot facility on Grassmere Park right beside the zoo's parking lot. Meanwhile, cities across Middle Tennessee, including Nashville, moving to slow the rapid expansion of data centers tied to AI and cryptocurrency. Cedar Hill officials considering a 2-year moratorium while they evaluate how these developments could affect farmland and local resources. And in Springfield, leaders are exploring zoning changes to regulate future projects. And a 43-year-old nurse practitioner from Murfreesboro faces significant prison time, convicted in a major federal opioid case. Prosecutors say Heather Marks prescribed nearly 1 million opioid pills to about 1,000 patients at a Carthage pain clinic. Evidence allegedly showed she ignored signs patients were abusing drugs and even prescribing to those likely reselling them. Marks now faces up to 20 years per count when she's sentenced in September. Please Can someone help us find a way out of the whey shortage that's been weighing on a lot of people's minds lately?
Little Miss Muffet's curds and whey are so old school. Now you can find whey in everything from waffles to chips to lattes. They're even selling it on GMA's Deals and Steals.
Coffee. Everybody's doing this, the protein coffee thing.
Exactly. But that demand for protein has led to a supply problem. Some whey suppliers say they are running low on homegrown whey products, meaning they might have to import it, meaning your curds and whey as well as your protein coffee could cost you more soon. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. You can listen on all the apps, the FM dial, Radio Classic. You can watch us as well on YouTube and Rumble. Hit subscribe while you're there. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We appreciate you doing so. A lot of people are excited that Ken Weaver is back in the newsroom. Very excited. But conspiracy theories are already running rampant on the text line. Somebody said, so the central air is back on in the studios and now Ken is back? Coincidence? I think not, says 7568. I don't think it's a coincidence at all.
I saw that yesterday and thought, man, I picked a good day.
Yeah, you sure did. 7441 says that they know what you were dealing with.
Oh, yeah?
Anal glaucoma. Says he didn't see his butt going to work. So. I think we found it, boys. I think.
There's your answer.
Okay, it wasn't attention to the Rio. It was anal glaucoma.
Wonder what you take for that.
I think that there's some remedies.
They make you go see a proctologist.
Coffee enema.
Open wide.
Oh, jeez. That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. He just does the news, boys.
I just do the news, boys. Yeah.
No, we love Ken Weaver. We're glad he's back. And he's as close to 100% as we need.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Ken. We also got CBS News. They're trying to be as close to 100% as they can be. You like that radio segue gold? You only get that from 9 to noon. I'm just letting you know. So CBS has come up with a brand new formula for how to have the hardest hitting news coverage. And it goes like this. Follow Nick Shirley on Twitter. Then wait 2 weeks and do exactly what Nick Shirley did 2 weeks ago. And I'm telling you this because I saw a report last night. And they're in a warehouse on CBS, and they're with all of this stuff that has been seized by law enforcement from fraudsters. And it's like, hey, I felt like Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. I'm like, hey, I've seen this one before. Because it's literally just the reporting that Nick Shirley did. Except the difference is Nick Shirley did it while the property was still in the fraudster's possession. CBS waited until the property was seized. That's literally the only difference between the reporting. So they're in this warehouse, and in the warehouse, they're like, look at all these luxury vehicles. Look at this. Look at these Mercedes. Look at these G-Wagons that have been seized by law enforcement officials. All of these G-Wagons were paid for by your tax dollars. And it's like, yeah, we know. You're a little late to the party. I'm glad. Listen, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. I'm glad they finally showed up to the party. They were invited a long time ago, but they're late. They're late.
I wish I could show you what's behind here, but I can describe. I've seen over a dozen Ferraris, Lamborghinis, a Bugatti, Lotus, several G-Wagons. These are just some of the assets the government has seized.
And who was it that paid for these Ferraris, the Lotuses? Is a Lotus sick? I don't know. I'm not a car guy. I'm not. They're all
right.
I wish I could be a car guy. Like, I feel like it would be cool to be a car guy. I'm just not a car guy.
They could be a little pretentious.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
Is that like, I feel like there's like a little bit of salt behind that. Like if you
Not a little bit.
A lot of salt?
There's a lot of salt there.
Okay. I wish I could be a car guy.
In a job of doing valet for years, I've interacted with many of them who are like, just.
The Lotus guys, they rub you the wrong way?
Large sticks up their place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Up their place.
Anal glaucoma reference again.
Open wide.
So he sees all these vehicles and it's like, who paid for these? And it's like, oh, that's right, you did.
From fraudsters who have taken your taxpayer dollars and bought some of these ill-gotten gains. LA's top federal prosecutor, Bill O'Saley, showed us around this U.S. Marshal's warehouse.
It should offend every American taxpayer that these people are taking advantage of the system and enriching themselves.
These items had been owned by Paul Randall, who pleaded guilty to wire fraud this year in one of the largest Medi-Cal fraud cases in California history.
He submitted above $270 million worth of claims to the state of California through Medi-Cal. He was paid $170 million.
It's insane. Now, Paul Randall, he's a white guy. And I think that's important to point out that not all the fraudsters are Somali-based or Somali origin, but all of the fraudsters need to be dealt with because of the amount of money that has been siphoned from the American taxpayer because of the fraud. And the stuff that this guy bought was absolutely insane. I mean, we're talking like Mickey Mantle rookie cards. He had Kobe Bryant's worn shoes. Like this is above and beyond, and it's all on the backs of hardworking Americans.
$170 million of hard-earned tax dollars.
That's correct. And what's most egregious about this is it was basically no questions asked. He basically exploited a loophole in the state's processing system.
That loophole, court records show, meant healthcare providers got reimbursed for prescription drugs that were not medically necessary, and often not even given to patients. But where did all the stolen money go? Authorities say it paid for Kobe Bryant game-worn sneakers, baseball cards of Jackie Robinson and Mickey Mantle.
Very expensive taste, very rare, near mint condition, collectible sports cards purchased with taxpayer dollars.
O'Saley also showed us Randall's home, one of 7 properties he owned.
Let me tell you what a piece of work this Randall guy was. He's got 6 prior convictions for fraudulent conduct, and he was out on bond waiting sentencing when he started this new scheme.
He was effectively on bond when he decided to defraud $170 million more.
Yes. It's crazy.
Who's responsible for the breakdown of the system?
Obviously, there's a breakdown in the criminal justice system. If this guy was able to have 6 convictions and never did any real prison time.
I mean, I think everybody knows the responsible party is the U.S. government here. Like, it just the willful ignorance on some of this fraud where there was no verification at all. Like, that's the responsible party. And the Trump administration is taking it seriously with the anti-fraud task force. Shout out to JD Vance. All hail the fraud czar. You're not allowed to do the Roman salute. Please don't do the Roman salute. It'll be taken out of context. It was a Roman salute, I swear.
We turned up a private driveway,
He was living like a king off of us.
climbing into an exclusive corner of Orange County.
It's 8 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms.
Randall faces up to 30 years in federal prison. He didn't want to talk to us for the story.
Dude, I wonder why. Is 30 years in federal prison enough? I mean, real question. Is that enough time? I think it should be longer. I do. I feel like it should be longer than 30 years in federal prison, because then you know he'll get sentenced to that, and then he'll get out on good behavior, right? He's gonna be able to get some good lawyers, I would imagine. I can't see them seizing all of his assets, so he's gonna get some good lawyers, and then he's gonna get out on good behavior. How many of that 30? If he was sentenced to all 30 years, how many of that 30 years do you actually think he's gonna serve? I don't have a lot of faith. I don't. Let's go to our friend Brian on the road. What's up, Brian? How are you?
What's up, man? It was so nice to meet you Saturday, and your 2 awesome kids, your Bishop and Brooks, just classy guys, very respectful. You should be proud.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. They were excited to meet you. When it clicked that they knew your grandson, they were like, "Oh, let's go!"
Yeah. Well, a connection does help. And I hope you enjoy your shirt. I made that special for you.
Yes, sir. I'm very impressed with it, and very grateful. Thank you so much.
After I left the other day, just kidding, but after I left the other day, I got detained by ICE, and man, the place they took me to was awesome. Meal, it was even better than what I was going to have that night, which was steak and baked potato, but it was better.
It's insane.
So don't let people fool you like they're doing out there. But these fraudsters, when I ran credit unions for about 30 years, I was in CEO spots, administrator, director, whatever. And I got to see some behind the scenes, but I also had to learn the compliance side of all that. And the compliance side of some of the business that financials do is they have to have vendors, right? So you have to have people to do work for you that you're not very good at yourself, maybe, or it's just a better efficient deal for you to contract with them. But we were held to a scrutiny by regulators, federal regulators, that we had to get the financials of the people that we did business with, which at first made no sense. I was like, but we had to make sure that there was continuity in their service, so, that they had the financial means to serve us. And our system is not built on any responsibility or accountability, it seems like. This is really revealing. Nick Sorley, they should be up for Nobel Peace Prize or some. I don't go with the Pulitzer anymore. It means nothing to me because there's no journalists out there except those people like those 2 young guys.
Those guys could make it great again. They could absolutely make it great again, Brian.
Oh, they could. And I think you do. And I think there are people like y'all that bring news to the public that we it just makes our jaws drop. But a minute ago you were talking about if he gets 30 years, that's not long enough that he'd serve for good time behavior or whatever. I thought federal guidelines were that they serve 30 years when they're sentenced 30 years. But you could be right about the good behavior. And I don't think that's long enough. I don't know about how bad it was and who all he hurt. And he took our money. A thief used to get hanged.
I would wonder. Well, when you see some of the stories, and at the fraud round table, JD Vance outlined a story of an elderly man who was essentially had his identity stolen, and then he died alone and in pain as they defrauded him. I mean, is that not murder? Could we tie something like that to one of these guys? I feel like that maybe it's a stretch, but maybe not.
No. I feel the same way. It's not direct murder, but so what? You look what you did to people. You ruined. Biden ruined so many. He murdered people. Biden, through his policies, murdered people.
And we're still seeing the results of that. I mean, I haven't even been able to get to it today, but there's a story about Sheridan Gorman that's out there. And what was the story? Poor Sheridan Gorman, who was the teenager that was gunned down in Florida. The guy that killed her is now been found in prison with a shank. He's reportedly been found in jail with a homemade weapon, and other inmates are fearing for their safety. But these are the type of people that Biden let walk into our country, no problem, no questions asked.
Yeah, well, and I would think at some point somebody on the left would run into that sort of situation where their lives are at stake, and then somebody would speak out about that. But that hadn't happened that we know of.
Right.
Nobody's reported it anyway. Why? There's a book written by, I think it was a Jewish guy years ago, called "Why Do Good Things Happen to Bad People and Bad Things Happen to Good People." Just makes us, we don't understand it all until we get to heaven, brother.
Yeah, so, I'm with you, man.
That's all I got. Y'all have a great day. You do a great job. You're up there with Bo and your buddies that do the investigative, and Nick Sorter. You are up there definitely.
Well, that's high praise. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for listening, as always. The fraud stuff on CBS, though, insane. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you see the cars that this guy has. Again, I'm not a car guy, but if I was rich, if I had the money, I would probably buy one of these, right? Wouldn't you? Especially the classic ones, the ones that were still made with real metal. I mean, there's one right here. I don't even know what it is.
The federal government will try to recover some money by auctioning his assets. But as Saley warns, in other cases, they can't get back the money.
We see a lot of that money leave the country quickly. And once the money leaves the country, it's much more difficult, if not impossible, for us to trace it or recover it.
Investigating government fraud is a priority for Haywood Talcove. He's been warning officials about scams for 2 decades.
U.S. taxpayers lose $1 trillion a year.
$1 trillion a year. How many trillions are we in debt? How long has this been going on?
To these criminal groups.
Where's it going?
It goes to Russia, it goes to China, it goes to Nigeria, it goes to Romania, and it's never to be seen again.
By his estimate, of that $1 trillion, roughly 70% ends up in the hands of transnational criminal gangs.
Taxpayers are funding transnational criminals who are using this money for horrible things: child trafficking, drugs, threats to our democracy.
Now, remember when leftists protest the fraud investigations, they're not, again, the tax dollars that are stolen don't have an R or a D assigned to them. They're American tax dollars. And then they're going to some of the most heinous things that you could ever imagine and enriching the lives of some of the dirtiest people you could ever imagine.
Cars, cards, compounds. This is what fraud looks like after it's already happened. Saley and Talcove agree.
That is why it is so important that the money never goes out in the first place.
Amen. And shout out to the Anti-Fraud Task Force for cracking down on this stuff. Shout out to Nick Shirley for the reporting that he's done, which is actually forcing legacy media to have to talk about it because it's become too big of a story for anyone to ignore. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, and I got to give my seal of approval on some brand new tech that Dr. Mitch has designed himself. Nobody can touch Dr. Mitchell when it comes to healing and cutting-edge technology, and they've done it again with the brand new Medical Bay 1. Again, this is a futuristic healing machine designed by Dr. Mitchell himself. You sit back like you're in an Artemis spaceship, getting a full-body massage, while red light, near-infrared, and photon wavelengths light up your cells exactly how God designed them to respond. And it actually stimulates your stem cells for real tissue regeneration. Epic healing that you can only get at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Don't forget, it's not just the new Medical Bay 1, but they also have the non-surgical spinal decompression, which right now they're running the Epic Spinal Special, which is $33 off each visit. What you won't find at the Wellness Institute of Nashville is some doctor pushing surgery, painful injections, or opioids. That's not their style. and you can get back to a pain-free life without any of those options being on the table. Launch your pain-free voyage today at painisbad.com or call 615-246-5009. That's painisbad.com or 615-246-5009. You can go see them. You can thank me later. Your pain-free voyage is a phone call or a click away. Painisbad.com.
Busy night for the Metro Council tonight. They're going to be talking about cutting the grocery tax. They're going to be talking about a resolution on whether or not council members think the NES CEO should be fired for the response to the ice storm. These stories and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. A story that I wanted to get to today that I haven't had an opportunity to. President Trump versus Bibi Netanyahu. The story is wild. Apparently, President Trump personally asked Bibi Netanyahu on the phone to pull back on an invasion of Beirut, Lebanon. This is how Fox News described it.
And Hezbollah launched more than 50 rockets into northern Israel as Israeli ground forces push deeper into southern Lebanon.
Donald Trump on Truth Social had a conversation with Bibi Netanyahu today, asking him not to go into a major raid of Beirut, Lebanon. He turned his troops around. Thank you, Bibi. I also had a conversation with representatives of leaders of Hezbollah, and they agreed to stop shooting at Israel and its soldiers. Likewise, Israel agreed to stop shooting at them. Let's see how long that lasts. Hopefully, it will be for eternity. President Donald J. Trump. Now, that's the Truth Social post from the president. The story from Axios is a bit different. It has a bit more colorful language. The headline, "You're effing crazy. Trump fumes at Netanyahu in call on Lebanon." President Trump lashed out at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over Israel's escalation in Lebanon in an expletive-laden call on Monday. Two U.S. officials and a third source briefed on the call told Axios. Earlier on Monday, Iran threatened to abandon negotiations with the U.S. over Israel's actions in Lebanon On the call, President Trump called Netanyahu crazy and accused him of ingratitude, according to two of the sources. He also put the brakes on Israel's plan to strike Beirut. One U.S. official said Trump told Netanyahu the following, that following through on his threats to bomb Lebanese capital would further isolate Israel around the world. Two of the sources said Trump claimed he'd helped keep Netanyahu out of jail, a reference to his support during Netanyahu's corruption trial. Summarizing Trump's remarks to Netanyahu, the U.S. official said, you're effing crazy. You'd be in prison if it weren't for me. I'm saving your ass. Everybody hates you now. Everybody hates Israel because of this. A second source briefed on the call said Trump was pissed and at one point yelled at Netanyahu, what the F are you doing? The U.S. official said Trump knew Hezbollah had been shooting at Israel and that Israel needed to defend itself, but felt in recent days Netanyahu was escalating in a disproportionate way. In addition to the threats on Beirut, Israel has been expanding its ground operation in southern Lebanon. Another U.S. official said that Trump was concerned by the fact that Israel had killed so many civilians in Lebanon and objected to the Israelis knocking down buildings to take out a single Hezbollah commander. Now, as this story is kind of exploding across the internet, a lot of individuals are calling it theater, that this is not really happening, that there is no air between Netanyahu and Trump. I kind of push back on that a little bit because, as you can see, the results are there. The fruit is there. Israel has turned around. And President Trump said it was because of his conversation. Now, was the language as colorful as it's being reported in Axios? I don't know. Is there friction between Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump? I don't know. Are people upset with Israel? 100%. That's pretty much confirmed. People are tired of what it appears to be Israel influencing our policies and our battles over in the Middle East. So if this is true, I mean, it kind of spits in the face of the fact that people think Benjamin Netanyahu has President Trump on a leash, and it kind of goes in the other direction. Now, again, the internet doesn't really believe this reporting, but the reporting is there, and the news story of Israel turning the troops around, it's there. So who do you believe? 615-737-9986. We got more stories on the way. Lightning round on deck. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are going to dry out and warm up. Tell you about it during the full forecast here in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Metro leaders considering a small tax break on groceries as part of the next budget. The first reading of the plan is tonight. It would lower the local grocery tax by 0.5 cent, putting some money back in families' pockets. Not much. Shoppers could save around $70 a year on average. To make up the difference, $9 million per year for Metro coffers. Metro departments are being asked to trim their budgets slightly. Also tonight, Metro Council members vote on a resolution calling for NES CEO Teresa Broyles-Applin to be fired for the response to the January ice storm. Channel 4's Holly Thompson.
The resolution says the power company failed to properly prepare for the storm despite knowing the risks. Council members will also take up another resolution that points to what some call a lack of confidence in the leadership of the electric board. We know the meeting will start at 6:30. We will be watching this very closely. Of course, we will let you know what happens.
Meanwhile, a proposal in Williamson County could bring new transitional housing to Franklin. The Williamson County Homeless Alliance wants to build a $10 million facility called the Stable House off of Old Carters Creek Pike. The project would house up to 66 people, offer services to help them find jobs and permanent housing. Franklin city leaders still discussing the idea with concerns about serving local residents and neighborhood impact. And help wanted signs posted in more businesses in April, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. ABC's Jim Ryan with the latest numbers.
The job openings and labor turnover summary found 7.6 million openings in April, but in terms of people being hired, that number fell to just over 5 million. At the same time, the JOLTS report showed that about 1.7 million workers were laid off in April, about the same as the month before.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. And if you need some health insurance, but you're worried that you could be paying an arm and a leg, you should talk to Shane Ring today. They are making health insurance simple. And if you think you have to wait till open enrollment in the fall to get covered, that's wrong. That's a myth. That's what the big guys want you to believe. With Cover Nash, you can get covered today, right now. No waiting, no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment, no problem. You lost your job coverage, that sucks. Shane can help you out. If you're sick of overpriced junk insurance, or you're not sure if your insurance is junk and or overpriced, you should be talking to Shane today. See, Cover Nash partners with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250, flat $50 doctor visits, ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care. Whether you're an individual, you got to get the whole family covered, you're self-employed, or you got a whole small business that you're worried about. These are the guys to call. Stop overpaying, stop waiting, stop thinking you're stuck. Go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023. That's 615-465-0023 or covernash.com. $11:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Ken Weaver's in the newsroom. Mason Fleming is producing. You guys on the phone lines and the text line, 615-737-9986. Also, shout out to the YouTube chat. It's been very active today. It's a very active chat. There's been trolls. There's been laughs. There's been tears. A very active chat. A roller coaster of emotion. Speaking of roller coasters of emotion, we do that every day at this time. We like to call it the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Every day this time, all the stories that we didn't get a chance to get to, stories that wouldn't fill up a whole segment, stories that we just felt like mentioning because my wife was like, that's not really show prep. And I'm like, no, it is. It absolutely is show prep. And now I'm going to mention it in the lightning round so that way I don't look like a liar.
It's the big excuse.
You know, it's the big excuse.
The big exception.
Sometimes we have to do that.
Yeah.
My wife will be like, that's a meme. That's not show prep. And I'm like, joke's on you.
Watch this.
Joke's on you.
Hold my seltzer.
hold my Wally's Bean Machine coffee. Wally'sBeanMachine.com. So Election Day is happening today. That's the first story in the lightning round. Not here locally. We gotta wait. We gotta wait for that. Just save your vote for Monty Fritz for a little while longer. Sorry, I'm not. Am I allowed to do that? I don't know. It's up to you. Vote for whoever you want. But do your own research.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. But speaking of my wife, she has been on the Spencer Pratt train for like a year. She was one of the first people that even brought up Spencer Pratt to me. She's like, hey, this guy's making a lot of noise about the wildfires in the Palisades. You should pay attention to this. And I was like, I kind of brushed it off. I was like, the Hills. He's a reality TV star. Like, meh. And then she like kept chirping. You know how wives do. So she keeps chirping. And she's like, no. Like he's really doing something big. He's really doing something special in California. She's just chirping. Pay attention to Spencer Pratt. Pay attention to Spencer Pratt. Then he announces that he's running for mayor, which is months ago now at this point, right? And I'll be honest, I still didn't take it serious. I didn't. I didn't see it. And I'm here to tell you, my friends, I was 100% wrong. I think that today, as polls are open in Los Angeles, when it comes to the mayoral race, we have a real chance to see Spencer Pratt win. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, you have to give it a little bit of, ifs and buts, because it is California. And there could be a rigged system against him. But I think he's captured the hearts of the people in Los Angeles. And he's done it by just speaking the truth. He absolutely crushed the mayoral debate. He has really harnessed the power of technology. He's getting all of the money. I mean, he is absolutely dunking on them when it comes to fundraising. And the businesses around Los Angeles, they need to see some fixes. They are tired of the crime and they're tired of the homelessness. And who are you going to vote for? The people that have ignored these problems for years and created some of them? Or the guy who's promising to fix them? Fox News has the call of the game on the latest on the LA polls.
Hi, Bill. Yeah, we spent hours yesterday walking up and down downtown where we spoke to small businesses that are still sticking it out here. I want to show you some of the stories that we heard, and they all center around safety. One of them here, this dry cleaner, said someone took a scooter just like this one, threw it through the window while one of the business owners was inside, not only harming him, but causing his wife to feel so unsafe that she, as one of the business owners, won't even come into the store downtown. They say they've stolen $30,000 or so from this store, and another homeless person had used their dressing room here as a bathroom. Now,
oh, come on. Stop belly aching. That was this statement from Mayor Karen Bass when reached out for comment. I'm kidding. I'm assuming.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So the guy went into the bathroom and, excuse me. Went into the dressing room.
There you go. Hold on, Chris.
And then he defecated. I'm assuming. I'm assuming there was heat that was dropped. Right? I'm assuming.
Well, Karen Bass is used to bombs.
She trained with the Venceremos Brigade. I mean, this is Los Angeles. So the homeless guy throws a scooter through the window of a wedding dress shop. Imagine seeing that on Say Yes to the Dress. They probably edited that part out. They probably reshot that scene.
Yeah, probably. After cleaning up the window, 5 days of construction.
And cleaning up the dressing room.
True.
Why are you letting homeless people into your dressing room in the first place?
Yeah, that's a weird smear campaign.
I want to take you over to Erwin Padula's store here, Weird Beers. He's been here for 30 years.
This is literally just the store next door to the wedding dress shop, by the way. She walked maybe 2.5 feet.
He says that his glass has been shattered as well. You'll notice he has this wood boarded up here, and he doesn't plan to replace it with glass because he says there's no point. They're going to do it again. He'd rather spend that money on inventory. Now, this is important to note that he doesn't even want to watch the security footage because he believes that the police don't have the capacity and enough people to come and help him. And he wants the mayor's candidates to now make him feel less ignored. We asked, did any of the candidates come to speak to him? him, he said no. That includes all three major candidates, Rahman, Pratt, and current Mayor Bass. I asked him what he would say to them if he had the opportunity.
I don't think they need me to tell them what they need to do because they talk about it every day on TV or on their ads that they place on, so they know what the issues are. The problem is that are they going to really do something about it? I really don't think so.
And Bill, those were just two of several stories that we heard. Back to you.
I'm sure. I mean, it's insane. California's insane. My thing that I would say to that business owner of Weird Beers, I would just say a couple of them have been complicit in the issues in Los Angeles, and one of the guys is an outsider. So I would my advice would be like, what do you have to lose? Honestly, do you want to vote for Mayor Karen Bass and get more of the same, or do you think that there's a better chance that Spencer Pratt could clean it up? I mean, I guess we're going to find out tomorrow, right? Well, we'll find out this evening, but we'll talk about it tomorrow as the election results come in. I do feel a lot more confident that Pratt will win than I do Steve Hilton will win. I bet you the governor's race will go to some sort of runoff. We'll see what happens there. But the statewide, that makes me feel a little bit more uneasy than just the city. Maybe I'm naive. I could be naive. But I do hope and I pray that Spencer Pratt wins in Los Angeles. All right, got another story for you here in the lightning round.
Another one.
There you go. I was going to say it was a little delayed on the lightning, but then you dropped DJ Khaled, and I was like, all right.
Well, I almost said Khaled first, and I was like, no. Lightning comes before.
Yeah. Lightning comes before the thunder.
Another one.
Speaking of awesome rappers, add Vanilla Ice to the list. Long since his days of being hung over a balcony by Suge Knight, Vanilla Ice doesn't have a spirit of fear anymore, and Vanilla Ice is down to perform at the 250th birthday bash for America.
Even though we've heard that from the president, when so many other performers are deciding not to.
I don't know. I can only speak for myself, and I'm proud to be an American. I was born here and raised here, and this is my country, and I don't like anybody telling me I really can't be proud of it. And this is a huge honor to play the birthday. It's it's in a lifetime, 250. So I'm honored, and I just, I respect everybody else. I know there's a lot of tension everywhere. This whole world is like a snow globe, but it shouldn't be that. And music is here to bring people together, man. And, it shouldn't be that this music is dragged into politics. It's not fair, I don't even vote. I'm not a politician. I don't have anything I don't even have the first thing to say about how to run a country or do anything like that. I think this is a huge honor, and I'm wanting to celebrate the country I was born and raised in, man. And we didn't take things so serious back in the 90s. I feel sorry for these kids today, man. I have kids, so I know, and it's a different world. I mean, these computers have kind of ruined the world, if you ask me. I think we should all go back to the 90s and the 80s when it was just, having fun and Z Cavricis, and you just go out and you rip your back seat and you put subwoofers in and you enjoy going to Blockbuster. That's all we're doing is celebrating the birthday of our country.
Based Vanilla Ice. The 90s and the 80s were better. Everybody knows it. Rip out your back seat, put in subwoofers, go to Blockbuster, for crying out loud. When's the last time a kid went to Blockbuster? Also, I think it's hilarious when he's like, I don't know the first thing about politics. It's like, well, I do know that your song, Ice Ice Baby, gets played at just about every anti-ICE protest by based conservative patriots driving by.
Yep.
And we thank you for that. But he's right. The 90s were better. Everybody knows it. That's why all the styles coming back. Jorts are making a fiery comeback. I don't care who knows it. Virginia, are you listening? Jorts are making a comeback. And I need the ones with the hammer loop.
Yes.
My birthday's coming up. And give me a new hammer too while you're at it. I deserve it. I've been working hard. Can somebody get me some jorts?
Chris's version of capris, ladies and gentlemen. Jorts.
Size 32. Thank you for your attention to this matter. 10 Music Circle East if you'd like to send me a pair of jorts.
Please.
I would literally wear them.
Please.
Virginia, she says no to everything fun. I was looking at jorts last night, and she literally said to me, she's like, what are you doing? I said, show prep. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. This may be, listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. This may be one of the most brilliant things you could ever do.
By Jorts?
Okay. This is the second most brilliant thing you could ever do. All right. So there's a bar in New York City that is running a wild promo for the NBA Finals. Okay. I don't know if you know this. It's the Knicks versus the Spurs. Sports ball. We love it. Everybody loves sports ball. Of course. So Knicks versus, this is a non-sports ball story. Knicks versus the Spurs. There's a bar in New York City that is running a wild promotion. You ready for this? If the Knicks win, nobody, and I repeat, nobody has to pay their tab. Okay? Now, it's a crazy promotion. Do you want to know why it's so brilliant? Because the owner is going to be dropping a bet on Kalshi that the Knicks will win, which would cover his losses for the night if he had to pay for everyone's drinks.
So net neutral.
It's a net neutral. But if they lose, this guy's going to clean up. This is brilliant. And I think that we should have Nashville bars doing the exact same thing. I don't know. Part of me feels like maybe this is a planted story by Kalshi. Like maybe they're in cahoots. But
maybe.
I don't care. I don't care either way.
You see paid partner in the bottom.
No, I didn't, dude. I really did. I checked for it because
Nice.
they've been doing that everywhere. Like
Yeah,
the Poly Market and the Kalshi. Like you have to be a little bit keen. You know, you got to be a little
I'll
bit
be like 20 seconds into a video and I'll see it. Oh, there it is.
You have to be a little observant. I don't know. I might have missed it, but this is full disclosure. I'm switching back to the tab with Jorts while I'm listening to this. So I'm only a little observant, but this is the owner of the Jeffrey Growlers and Beer Garden.
Hey Knicks Nation, I'm Andy, owner of the Jeffrey on the Upper East Side, and I'm on a mission to give away a lot of free food and drinks this week. Let me explain. Last game against the Cavs, we offered our customers 1% off their tabs for every point the Knicks won by. They won by a whopping 37. And for game 1 against the Spurs, we're going even bigger. If the Knicks win, your entire tab is on us. Last time, we took a $4,000 hit. So this time, we're hedging our risk on Kalshi.
Here's how it works. If the Knicks win, Andy covers everyone's tab, but he gets paid out from Kalshi. That's a successful hedge. If the Knicks lose, he's out his $5,000. But he makes that back and more with a huge night of revenue from the promotion. By taking out $5,000 of insurance on Kalshi, Andy is protected no matter what happens.
So come on out to the Jeffrey on Wednesday and watch the Knicks make history.
It's definitely a paid promotion, isn't it? It's got to be.
That hand placement with the app on his phone looked a little sus.
It did look a little sus.
But it is cool.
And I will say this. There was a little disclaimer down there at the bottom. What did it say? It said like, up to $100 per person. No purchase necessary. What's that, like 3 beers in New York?
It's a beer and a half.
Beer and a half. It's like a mouthful of beer. It's just... So he's definitely hedging his bets. It says tax and gratuity not included.
Yeah, the half full can from the homeless guy outside.
Yeah, it's still pretty based.
It's a good choice.
This is how digital marketing works. You tell me that you wouldn't go to that bar.
I'd be there,
right?
I don't drink, and I'll be there.
They said they'd cover the food too.
Everything's covered.
Everything's covered. If the Knicks win. Unfortunately, the Knicks are built on disappointment and tears of generations past.
Yeah.
That does it for the lightning round. 11:51 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A little fast on the lightning there, huh? Don't worry. We're gonna find somebody that can keep up.
Just gotta wait for the thunder.
Another one. All right, let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and
Sure.
schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt,
All
we
right.
appreciate you.
$11:56, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mason Fleming producing. Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Chad Benson's in studio.
What up?
A lot of people Larry texted and he said, I said a lot of people, it was just Larry. He said, where's Mason going? P1 listeners
Over there?
deserve to know.
That direction?
There's basically a cubby down the hall that he's going to get.
I'm going home.
You're going home. Is that enough of this?
He's got a big new office, a spaceship.
Yeah, Mason. So Mason deserves it. He's been working behind the scenes for a while here, trying to help us get digital up and running. And you got a fancy new promotion.
He does. Well, he's a fancy kind of guy.
Moving on up.
A little fancy over here.
He's our George Jefferson.
Yes, he is. To the big time.
You are.
He's finally got a piece of the pie. Wheezy!
But Mason's going to be here for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, you're stuck with me for
putting
a
up
little bit.
with my shenanigans. So you're going to be subject to a few weeks of can't wait till we get somebody good in here jokes. but
I can't wait till Joan takes over Chris's show.
Yeah.
Finally, the placeholder's gone.
Yeah, but no, I'm honestly so excited for Mason. He deserves it.
Yeah,
So.
he and I talk about voiceovers and stuff all the time. I think it's going to be good. You guys will still hear his voice everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
All right.
You're stuck with me.
If you want to listen to Mason, you got to stick through the commercials.
That's right, because he's going to be out there with his dulcet tones and giant hair that you can't see.
Yeah,
Tune onto the radio.
I think that's what people are going to miss the most and I feel like this is one of the reasons he took the job. It's because we were planning on the half cornrows, half fro 4th of July, the froth of July.
That could still happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, as soon as this job came up, he was like, yeah, I got it, done.
Oh,
I was like, you didn't even negotiate. He's like, I don't need to.
I don't need to. I know that I'm winning at this.
Should have been the Forn in July.
The what?
The Forn.
The Forn?
Yeah, fro and corn.
I like
the Forn Rose of July.
I like Croth.
The Forn.
The Forn Rose.
I still think you should do it. For the
You
people.
got to do it, man. That's
You
part
owe
of it.
You owe it to the audience, and now we'll have somebody in here.
Yeah, that's a going away to everybody. Thank you guys for sticking around for the Mason show.
Plus, imagine meeting clients with happier hair and cornrows and having a fro.
Listen, I had to leave the shop to get to this meeting on time. My hair is stuck like this for the next 8 to 6 weeks.
What's up, fool? You ready to record some commercials, essay?
What's up, man? Higher the socks, the downer the fool.
Just crip walk into all your interviews.
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be sick. Yeah. So you still doing that?
Doing what? Say it.
And get the power fist, dude.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. We'll see what happens.
You're
Stay
doing
tuned,
it.
July 4th.
All right. Perfect. That's pretty
That's
much
what
a
Uncle Sam would
confirmation.
want.
Dude, we have the freedoms in this country to put half our hair in cornrows and half our hair in a fro.
You do have the freedom, Chris.
And it would be...
When will you do it?
I don't have the fro.
Not yet.
There's not enough time.
Not with that attitude.
No.
Not with that attitude.
12 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
$12 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. A proposed half-cent grocery tax cut for Nashville on the table at tonight's Metro Council meeting. Julie Smith, Chief Communications Officer for Mayor Freddie O'Connell, telling News 2 a typical family would save about $72 a year.
What we're saying is that it shouldn't be a luxury to feed your family. We want everyone to be able to go in